Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Excellent jam, Wave.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta do dede. Luta mo nulo jël moto nga andil ma xaalis. Hello? Ano lay waxal?
Bisul mu fine.
What?
Bisul mu fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave Axina Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. At Wave. Bisul mu fine? Wave. Your money is yours.
But first this morning, after more than 2 decades of service within the Independent Electoral Commission, IEC, Mr. Joseph Colley, or Joe Colley to many, now steps into the spotlight as its newly sworn chairman. In his first media appearance since taking office, he joins us here on Coffee Time with Peter Gomez to reflect on the journey, share his vision for electoral integrity, and speak to the challenges and opportunities ahead as the Gambia prepares for its next democratic chapter. Good morning, Joe, and welcome.
Good morning.
Wow, 2021 to date. 24 years.
2001.
Sorry, 2001, yes. 2001 to date, yeah. 24 years in the IEC.
In the IEC, yes.
How did it all begin?
Actually, I was, when I came back from studies, seminary in 96, I joined the teaching field, Catholic Education Secretariat, and I taught for 4 years at St. Teresa's, English language.
You know, I have an issue with people who call it Teresa. It's Therese.
Okay, St. Teresa.
Yes.
Yes, English language, SES, and Christian religious education. Then in 2001, I saw this advertisement that the Independent Electoral Commission were looking for electoral officers, actually. That was how the advert went. And then I applied and I was shortlisted. And then I went for an interview, and then, in fact, I forgot about that interview because I think the interview was in March, February, March 2001. And it was not until around the 27th of April, I can remember, because that was just a day before my wedding, my marriage, marriage ceremony. So I was out about with my fiancée looking for something, and I got a call that I have a letter at.
She's your good luck charm.
Yes, she's my good luck. Yes. So that I got an appointment letter at the office. So I went back, and there I got the appointment letter that I should start work on the 2nd of May 2001. That's how I started. And then, of course, being a very, 2001 we had registration, and then we had elections, So just after 2 weeks, I was whisked, to Kerawan. So I was posted as Assistant Electoral Regional Electoral Officer. And then I don't know how it happened. That one also, I just sat in the office. Then I got a call from head office. Joe, that was Mr. Cise Kausu, you've been redeployed, back to head office just after 10 months, I said, why? I said, no, but there's a vacancy, at the communications unit, So then I came down, took that as acting assistant communications officer under Said Yusuf. Then he was a director. Then after a few months, confirmed. Then after 2 years, when Said went for studies, I was acting director of training, communications, and public affairs. Then 2006, when Said was elevated to the position of principal electoral director, that's the CEO. Then I was it was a time of Chairman late Nundinjai. I was appointed director in 2nd January 2006. I've been in that position until 2021 when I was appointed commission member and vice chair. And then
and 4 years later?
4 years later, yes, I
became
here. So I think and then I worked in almost all the regions in the Gambia, except maybe West Coast. I was where I just go in and, you know, for Basse, you know, like for Kerawan, you know, I had 2 stints there. So that place I know, you know, from Bara to Paludi, I can name you
because
all
because you overstayed the NBR, you couldn't go to West Coast.
Yes, but I think West Coast now is going to be easy. Maybe as time goes on, like I think last Saturday I was in West Coast because we are expanding, and we're opening an office in Sibanor that will take care of Funyi. You know, West Coast is big now. West Coast has 3 offices. Yeah, just like Janjambure now, Central River has 2 offices. As the one in Wasu taking care of the Balangars, you know, up to Same, and then Janjambure will take care of the Nyaminas to the Folodus.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So you served under various
chairpersons.
Yes.
I think the first one, Uncle Gabriel Roberts. Gabi Roberts, I think he's still alive, and then we had Ndundi, who's late. Then we had late Mustafa Kereol, and then we had just the recent past, Ali Momanjai.
I haven't heard Bishop Tilewa.
Tilewa, he left before I came.
Before you
I came.
okay.
You know, yeah, he left. You know, he took over. You know, like Uncle Gabi was PIEC. Then after, when Uncle Gabi left, when IEC became IEC around 97, then Tilewa, then after, when he was removed, Uncle Gabi was, brought back, yes.
Fantastic.
Yes, I just missed him, but I worked with him at the Gambia Christian Council, where I was Assistant Secretary General under, I think, the then principal of Gambia High, Uncle Willie, Willie Carr. I was his assistant.
Okay, fantastic.
For about 3 to 6 years at the Christian Council.
Okay, fantastic. So Joe Colley served under all these, chairmen with their visions for the IEC. What's your overarching vision for the IEC under your leadership?
Yes, taking care of like the vision of the IEC, which the 3, the last 3 words, we talk about promotion of harmony, democracy, and progress. I will just add that, like, my own leadership style is going to be defined by maybe 2-3 words, inclusivity, participatory. And then, of course, giving my background, in law, compliance, because there are a lot of things that we have to do. If you look at the laws, like we have, the laws, you have to read the nexus, the connectedness of the law. You cannot just say, like, we have the electoral laws in the Constitution, in the Elections Act, Local Government Act, that's going to be, because you have to, because there are other acts, that play a pivotal role. For instance, I'll give you one example. That's the birth, death, register. That's the Registration Act. I think if you can take, in 2001, there was a court case, about attestation in Banjul and the like, so that judgment, if you look at it, the reference was made to that act, in Banjul, the people in Banjul, it's sort of by force for them to register their kids, so there's no room for an attestation, for you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So these are some of the things that like you have to read, in tandem with the electoral law, so that at least you don't fall short, of some of the things that you need to do. And then of course, those things that are silent, in the laws, you come up with regulations, which are gazetted, so that you don't have a lacuna. Like people don't fall back and say, no, but you should have done this, or this and this and this, or this is not in the law. Why are you doing it? Because sometimes you say, people are used to norms and things like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's a norm, yeah, but it's not maybe necessarily the right thing. You understand what I mean? So those are some of the things that I'm looking at, so that at least the credibility of the elections, transparency of the elections can be enhanced, so that and then if you
And how do you plan to do that? How do you plan to restore or strengthen public trust in the electoral process? Because we all know what happened in after 2021.
Yes,
when the UDP went to court.
Yeah, okay. You see, I just take cue of Section 2. If you look at the Constitution, it's the people, that own the elections, because power derives, power is derived from the people. So we are managers, we conduct the elections, but actually the elections belong to the people of the Gambia. So what we want to do is, as I said, it's going to be participatory and it's going to be inclusive. So what we're going to do is what it's going to be our approach is going to be more of consultative process. Because I give you a clue. If you want to do something, you have to get a strategic direction. And that's exactly what we did. We have a strategic plan. And when we were validating it, we involved the political parties through IPC. We involved the Inter-Party Committee. Yeah, they were involved. And then we involved the civil society through Tango. They had representatives there. And then we involved GPU. In fact, their vice president was present he took part in the validation of in Jara Soma. So that's our approach. We want to consult. We want to make sure that we carry along people, at the different stages, so that at least, people will be well informed. They will be part of the decisions, of the process. Right now, as I'm talking to you, the electoral calendar, we've already drafted the electoral calendar. But we don't want to publish it without, it being validated by the stakeholders. So you see now, from finance, judiciary, media, civil society, and so we want everybody to take part in the validation, so that everybody can take ownership. Once people take ownership of the process, then we don't have much problem. Yeah.
As you said, I mean, we own the election. Yes. It's the people, as you say. Mm-hmm. But you've been entrusted with managing the process. Mm-hmm. Now, so it's your responsibility to make sure that you earn our trust.
Of course.
But as I said, after 2021, everybody said foreigners were allowed to vote in our election. So the question remains: how do you plan to restore or strengthen public trust in the electoral process?
You see, Uncle Peter, if people, for me, as far as the law is concerned, because the register went through a process. It went through a process. People were registered. The register was published for 10 days. Then for 10 days for people to make objections, and people didn't make any objections. You understand? In fact, this ruling that I'm talking of, the judge said he cannot touch the citizenship of people, but those people who are aggrieved can go to the revising courts. If you read you see what after publication, nobody went to the revise. So and then at the end of the revising court, the magistrates sign these. They sign the register, and then the register becomes authentic and genuine. So after signing, meaning, I mean, even if you have queries and you don't go, so you cannot just come and tell me, like, we have foreigners on the list. But you had the chance to go to court, you didn't go to. So for me, all those now on the register, you cannot query them because they came with Gambian documents. And then you see, Uncle Peter, let me just draw you back to memory lane. In 2001, the IEC had the powers to interview, even if you came with what? Passport, ID card, attestation, birth certificate. Even if you come with that, we have the powers to interview you, and then if you are not satisfied, we can reject you. But in that 2001, the law was changed, and that is the law that is still there. The law on registration, that if any person comes with any of those documents that I've listed, you don't have any right to...
No need to question them.
No, yeah, you don't need to, you cannot question them, you cannot turn them out. You just... So what can you do in instances like that? And that is what is in the law. I mean, all the politicians, they know, the political parties, they know that is what is in the law. So what can we do? So if people come with attestation or with birth certificate, you see, we have, like, the birth certificate is given by the Ministry of Health. No? So then the ID card and the passports is the immigration. Even the attestation, what we did was, those days, people just use any type of paper to write the attestation. We said no. That's why we painstakingly, from 2011, I think, when we moved to the biometric, in order to make it more organized and serialized, we went to GPPC, and then we designed the form in such a way that, like, when you come, I mean, I think you take one and then you go to the alcalo, and the alcalo does it for you. And so like, so people should know that, like, we operate within the ambits of the law. We cannot invent anything that is not in the law. Yeah.
All right. Are there plans to reform the IEC's internal structures or procedural, operational procedures, rather?
Yes, as of now, what we've taken coup because, like, after every election, after every elections, we review observation reports, be it international or domestic, and then yes, looking at 2021 to 2023 cycle, we've had a lot of court cases. Yeah, so, and then we had recommendations for the establishment of a legal unit. And now I think we have a legal unit now, and it's being staffed and resourced. Like the UNDP is helping us in that area. In fact, as we speak now, they've advertised for a consultant, to help us establish that unit. And then we also have a gender and a Pt.1 unit, in fact, staffed. We also have UNDP is helping us get a consultant, and we're also getting help from Econic to get us a gender expert, to get a gender policy in elections and the like. Yeah, so we've, and then as I said, structurally, Brikama, the results from Brikama that's the West Coast region, were always the last, to arrive. And then, as you said, they arise suspicions here and there. What we're doing now is, what we started, like, as I said, we divided for operation. Sometimes the ferry problem, in Lamin Koto. Now we've decided to break CRR into two. So as I said in the introduction, WASU, it's operational. We have staff there. They will take care of CRR North. So no need now for people to cross over and go to the Janjambure office. And then CRR, we already have an office at Ulyundum in Yarambamba that will take care of the Den Combo North, which is densely populated, and then we have villages springing up, every day around that end. Yes, so, and then maybe next month, most probably we will open Sibanor. Okay. Yeah, Sibanor to take care of the Funis. Okay. So you see, Brikama office will now just take care of Combo South, Combo East, Brikama North, and Brikama South. So operation-wise, I think we will be faster. And then, as I said, to add on to transparency, like the results, we're thinking of now we will still do the manual, but we want to add some value by maybe deploying projectors at the collation centers. Yes, so that at least now people will not say, they're doing it in secret. Because you go to the collation center, like the presiding officer will be reading the results, and then the AROs and the others will be inputting in the computer. Now we said no. In order to involve everybody, we try and see if you get projectors, whilst they are calling out the results, whilst they punching it in the computer, then it will be projected, so that at least people will not say, then you know office, so it will be public, even at headquarters. Okay. Yeah, we are in fact what we are thinking of now is, if the head office is tight, why not we go to maybe an OIC, wherein we'll open up a secretariat there, and then wherein maybe with help maybe we can get a media center there, wherein journalists can do their own thing, and then we can having regular press conference or regular updates, because I think that is you cannot sit down in elections maybe for 1, 2, 3 hours. You don't tell people anything, especially with the results.
Especially
and then,
when we're waiting for
yeah, when we are waiting. Yeah, so that is why we said, look, let's bring in some of these innovations, so that at least we put everybody, so that nobody will say, even though they have agents, but like sometimes, like if people don't, if they don't know what you're doing, you give room for assumptions and things like that, and that is very bad, because so those are some of the things that we want. We want to be very much proactive and very much also engaging, so that people will not think that we're doing anything, in the dark. We want to...
Absolutely.
Yeah, yes.
We're talking to Mr. Joseph Colley for just tuning in. We all know what happened recently with the Auditor General and the National Audit Office, which is also supposed to be an independent institution. You have the word independent in the title of the commission that you head. How do you intend to ensure that independence amid what many perceive to be political interference, political pressure even?
Yes, I know. I think Section 43(7) there about or 6. I think it's there. We're not supposed to be under the direction and control of anybody. I tell you, like I won't. Those days, our budget. I just start from there. The budget of the IEC. Before I came into the commission, the practice. Like, we were leaning more towards finance than what is stipulated in the Constitution, because the Constitution says we don't submit to finance.
You were depending on the Ministry of Finance.
No, what I mean depending on, like, we used to submit there, you understand? But the thing is, even though but now we just decided to say, look, what is in the Constitution is what we should follow. We should submit our budget directly to the presidency. Now, it says the president cannot amend, but can make just suggestions to the National Assembly. And we go to the National Assembly, the FPAC, and we defend our budget there. Even though we send to finance, because it has to be put in the budget. You understand? So
you only send to finance for administrative reasons?
Yes. Okay. But like, it's only the budget that's approved by National Assembly, that's, you understand. But yet still, even though we submit to the president, we send to finance because it has to be put in the budget. Yeah, so we try to follow, the dictates of, what is in the constitution. Because I give you one example. You see, there are certain things if you don't do them right, because like there are a lot of provisions there in the electoral laws. Those ones you need to do. But there's room for consultation. But if you control too much, you tend to sometimes give away some of your powers and things like that.
You
and
submit to other
authorities.
authorities.
And then people will start questioning you. So that is why, we want to make sure that, like, even though we operate within the ambits of the law, we don't want to also let other people usurp, our responsibility or do what we are supposed to do when we are supposed to do it. Yeah.